Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing how do we understand David's confidence against Goliath? In 1 Samuel chapter 17, David met Goliath, a Philistine giant, and slew him with just a stone and a slingshot. He never once lost courage or doubted himself, even though Goliath could have taken his head off with one swing of his sword. Why was David so confident, and what made him so brave? Well, first, he believed God was powerful. David knew that his God was stronger than that of the Philistines, which is why he told Goliath, "This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel." 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 46. In fact, God is in control of literally everything, according to Matthew chapter 10 verse 30. The Roman centurion understood this, which is why he compared Jesus' power to heal with his own power to command servants in Matthew chapter 8 verses 5 to 13. God only let Goliath say all those things so he could be humbled, according to Proverbs chapter 16 verse 4. With this knowledge, he could then believe that Jehovah would defend him. Later in the Psalms he said, "I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about." Psalms chapter 3 verse 6. The three Hebrews stood up to King Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel chapter 3 verses 16 to 18 and refused to bow down to his image because they knew God wouldn't let them die. They only added verse 18 to show that even if the unthinkable happened, they wouldn't go back on their decision. If you have this kind of belief, God can get you through any challenge imaginable. As it was said in Isaiah, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." Isaiah chapter 43 verse 2. The Philistines could have 100 Goliaths, and David would have still defeated all of them. However, if you don't have that confidence, you'll lose all that courage. Some Pharisees, for example, believed in Jesus, but they weren't confident that Jehovah would protect them from their anti-Christian brothers, so they kept their faith hidden in John chapter 12 verse 42. Of course, God wants something in return for all this help. He wants us to defend his interests just as he is defending us. For example, in Numbers chapter 25 verses 11 to 13, Phinehas killed an Israelite and a Midianite who were committing adultery in broad daylight. He didn't care about what the repercussions were. He simply saw a bad act and wanted to put it to an end. Also, in Numbers chapter 13 verses 27 to 30, Joshua and Caleb were insistent that the Israelites would be able to take over the land of Canaan, even though there were very strong, very prosperous kingdoms with dozens of Goliaths. They ignored all that and focused on what God wanted, because they knew that he would help them overcome any hurdles that stood in the way of his plan. David followed the example of his predecessors to the letter. He didn't care about Goliath's size, strength, or weaponry. He only saw an uncircumcised fool blaspheming his God, and decided to teach him and the Philistines a lesson. His righteous zeal simply blurred everything else. Therefore, my advice is that we display the courage of David when facing the Goliaths of our own lives. With enough belief and zeal for God, we'll be able to face any challenge to our faith. After all, just like God weakened Goliath's skull so much that a stone slung at him could kill him, God will soften certain temptations to make sure they don't end up destroying our faith. "There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. How do we understand David's confidence against Goliath? David showed no fear when he faced Goliath because he knew God was powerful, he believed God would defend him, and he wanted to stand up for God no matter what obstacles stood in his way. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.